Blood never frightened Alaric Nocturne. He had ruled the night for more than 700 years. He had watched empires collapse, oceans redraw borders, and entire bloodlines vanish into dust. He had listened to the last breath of kings and the final prayers of murderers. Blood was familiar, predictable, obedient. But the girl who stood bleeding in the rain outside his hidden palace, she terrified him. Not because she carried a weapon. Not because she shouted threats. Not because she begged. She stood there silently, holding a wounded child in her arms, shielding him with her own body while vampire hunters surrounded them. And she did not run. Alaric watched from the shadows of the cathedral balcony, his crimson eyes narrowing. No human ever chose death like that. Yet she had. 3 hours earlier, her name had meant nothing. Lena Carter was just another invisible girl in a forgotten corner of the city. She worked at Haven Light Shelter, a decaying building squeezed between abandoned factories and broken streetlights. It housed the city's unwanted children. Orphans. Runaways. Victims of abuse. Kids the system had already given up on. Lena understood them. Because she had once been one of them. She had grown up in shelters. Slept on metal beds. Learned to shower in 2 minutes. Learned to eat fast before food disappeared. Learned never to cry too loudly. Crying attracted the wrong kind of attention. At 22, she worked 2 jobs. Daytime, shelter caretaker. Nighttime, hospital cleaner. No vacations. No savings. No family. Just survival. And still. She smiled. Every morning, she braided little girls' hair. Every evening, she read stories to boys who pretended not to listen. She spent her own money buying extra blankets. She skipped meals so children could eat. No one noticed. No one cared. Until tonight. It had started like any other evening. Rain soaked the streets. Sirens wailed in the distance. The shelter generator flickered. Lena was helping 8-year-old Noah with his homework when the lights went out. Complete darkness. Children screamed. Panic spread. Then came the sound. Glass breaking. Metal tearing. Heavy footsteps. Lena's heart dropped. She recognized those sounds. Hunters. Vampire hunters. They had been sweeping through poor districts lately, searching for illegal creatures. They didn't care who got hurt. And Haven Light stood right above an underground vampire passage. Lena hadn't known. Until tonight. A blast shattered the basement wall. Smoke filled the shelter. Men in armored coats stormed inside, weapons glowing with holy runes. Children cried. Staff ran. Someone shouted, "There's a nest under here." Chaos exploded. Lena grabbed Noah's hand. "Run," she whispered. But he froze. A hunter's blade swung wildly. It cut across Noah's arm. Blood poured out. Lena screamed. She wrapped him in her arms and ran. Through broken doors. Down flooded alleys. Past screaming sirens. Until she reached the Forbidden District. The place everyone feared. The abandoned cathedral. Where rumors said monsters ruled. She collapsed at its gate. Hunters surrounded her. "No more running," one growled. "Hand over the kid." Lena held Noah tighter. "No. He's infected. He's bleeding," she cried. "He needs a hospital. Step aside." She didn't. She positioned herself in front of him. A thin girl. Soaked. Shaking. Bleeding herself. Against trained killers. She raised her chin. "If you want him," she said softly, "you'll have to go through me." That was when Alaric noticed her. He had been inside, resting in his trance, when the scent of human blood drifted through the cathedral. Fresh. Fearless. Sacrificial. It pulled him awake. He moved to the balcony, unseen. And there she was. A fragile human shielding a child. Offering her life. For nothing in return. Something inside his dead heart stirred. Dangerously. Stupidly. He descended. The air froze. Shadows bent. Wind screamed. The hunters fell to their knees. A tall figure emerged from darkness. Black coat. Silver hair. Crimson eyes. Alaric Nocturne. Vampire King of the Northern Vale. The hunters trembled. Lord Nocturne. Alaric ignored them. He stared at Lena. Her knees were shaking. Her face was pale. But she didn't move. She looked at him and whispered, "Please, help him. Not, save me. Not, don't kill us. Help him." Alaric felt something crack. "Leave," he commanded. His voice was death itself. The hunters ran. Weapons dropped. Prayers forgotten. Gone in seconds. Silence returned. Rain fell. Lena collapsed. Alaric caught her before she hit the ground. She was light. Too light. Skinny from hunger. Exhausted from life. He held her and frowned. "Why?" he murmured. She barely whispered, "He's just a kid." Then she fainted. When Lena woke up, she was in a velvet bed. Warm. Clean. Safe. Sunlight filtered through dark curtains. She panicked. Sat up. Looked around. Golden furniture. Stone walls. Candles floating without flame. A palace. A nightmare. A dream. The door opened. A man entered. Tall. Cold. Beautiful. Terrifying. Alaric. She froze. He studied her. Not like prey. Not like property. Like a puzzle. "You risked your life," he said calmly. "For a child who isn't yours." "Yes," she replied softly. "Why?" She looked down. "Because no one did it for me." Silence. Alaric felt pain. Real pain. "You live at that shelter?" "Yes." "You're paid?" "Barely." "Family?" "No." "Why stay?" "Because they need me." He turned away. Emotion flickered behind his eyes. "I will fund the shelter," he said. She blinked. "What?" "I will rebuild it. Staff it. Protect it." "Why?" "Because," he paused. "You reminded me what humanity was supposed to be." Lena stared. Tears welled. "Thank you," she whispered. He didn't answer. He was afraid to. That night, alone in his chamber, Alaric watched her on security screens. Laughing with children. Cleaning wounds. Giving away her food. Never resting. Never complaining. Never asking. And slowly, the immortal king began falling for a mortal girl. Which was the most dangerous thing in any world. Because fate never allowed such love to survive. The king who learned to feel. Alaric Nocturne had never been a gentle ruler. For 7 centuries, he had ruled through fear, precision, and distance. His name alone had ended wars. His shadow had emptied cities. Other vampire lords bowed not because they respected him, but because they were terrified of him. Love had never existed in his world. Affection was weakness. Compassion was danger. Attachment was death. And yet, every night, he found himself watching Lena. Not as prey. Not as property. But as something fragile he was afraid to touch. After the attack, Alaric kept his promise. Haven Light Shelter was rebuilt within weeks. New walls. Solar panels. Medical rooms. Security. The poorest shelter in the district became the safest building in the city. People whispered. Some rich donor. Some criminal boss. Some ghost investor. No one knew it was a vampire king. Only Lena knew. And she never told. At first, she refused his help. "This is too much," she said one evening, standing in his grand library. "You've already done enough." "No," Alaric replied quietly. "I haven't." She frowned. "You saved us. You paid for everything. What more is there?" He hesitated. "I want to understand you." Her heart skipped. "Me?" "Yes." No one had ever said that to him. And no one had ever said that to her. So he began visiting the shelter. At night. Always disguised. Always quiet. Always watching. At first, the staff feared him. He was too pale. Too tall. Too intense. But Lena introduced him as Mr. North. "He's a donor," she said. Alaric almost smiled. He watched her work. She woke children gently. She never shouted. She listened. When a boy broke a window, she didn't punish him. She asked why. When a girl hid food, she didn't scold her. She packed extra. When teens fought, she separated them and made them talk. Alaric was stunned. He had ruled kingdoms. She ruled hearts. Without power. Without fear. Without violence. One night, he asked her, "Doesn't it exhaust you?" They were sitting on the shelter roof, watching city lights. She hugged her knees. "Yes," she admitted. "Every day." "Then why continue?" She smiled sadly. "Because if I don't, who will?" Something broke inside him. He remembered Elena. His sister. Kind. Brave. Human-loving. Burned alive while he watched. Lena reminded him of her. Too much. Slowly, he began changing. Without realizing. He stopped executing traitors instantly. He started negotiating. He reduced blood taxation on humans. He punished abusive vampire lords. His council noticed. They whispered. "The king is weakening. The king is distracted. The king is in love." Alaric ignored them. But they were right. Lena noticed changes too. He smiled sometimes. Small ones. Rare. Only for her. He brought books for children. Toys. Medicine. He learned Noah's favorite cartoon. He remembered birthdays. Once, when a heater broke, he stayed all night fixing it himself. His hands were bleeding. She panicked. "You could have hired someone." He shrugged. "I wanted to do it." She looked at him strangely. No one had ever done things for her. Just because. One winter night, she got sick. High fever. Coughing. Weak. She refused to rest. "I can't leave them," she insisted. She collapsed. In the hallway. Alaric caught her. He carried her to his palace. Without thinking. Without permission. Without care for consequences. He laid her in his own bed. Sat beside her for 3 days. No sleep. No feeding. Just watching. changing cloths, holding her hand, begging silently. Don't die, please. When she finally woke, she saw him asleep beside her bed. Head on folded arms. Hair messy. Expression peaceful. For once, not a king. Just a lonely man. Her heart changed forever. After that, everything felt different. They talked longer. Stood closer. Touched accidentally. Didn't pull away. Silence became comfortable. Dangerous. One night, under moonlight, she whispered, "Alaric, why are you so good to me?" He froze. "I don't know," he admitted. "I just can't imagine a world without you." Her breath caught. Neither spoke after that. But everything was said. Meanwhile, the enemy was watching. High Lord Verix, leader of the Blood Council. Ancient. Cruel. Power-hungry. He had ruled before Alaric. And wanted it back. He studied reports. The king protects a human girl. A shelter worker. A weakness. Verix smiled. Then we strike there. One evening, Lena received a letter. No sender. No stamp. Just words. Your past is not as simple as you think. Meet me at Pier 17 if you want answers. She stared at it. Her hands trembled. She never told Alaric. She didn't want to bother him. She didn't want to seem weak. So she went. Alone. At midnight. To the darkest place in the harbor. And that was the first step toward tragedy. The night she disappeared. The harbor at midnight was a graveyard of sound. Broken waves slapped against rusted docks. Wind howled through abandoned warehouses. Dim lights flickered like dying stars. The smell of oil and salt filled the air. Lena pulled her jacket tighter around herself as she stepped onto Pier 17. Her heart was racing. Every instinct told her to turn back. But the letter burned in her pocket. Your past is not as simple as you think. She needed answers. She had lived her whole life without knowing where she truly came from. No parents. No records. No history. Just shelters and empty files. If someone knew. She had to listen. Hello, she called softly. No answer. Only waves. Then. Slow footsteps. From behind. She turned. A tall man emerged from the shadows. White hair. Silver eyes. Perfect smile. Verix. Miss Carter, he said pleasantly. Thank you for coming. Her blood ran cold. Who are you? She whispered. A friend, he replied. And an enemy of the man you love. Her breath caught. How do you know? Oh, everyone knows, Verix laughed. The great vampire king, tamed by a shelter girl. She stepped back. I don't know what you're talking about. You lie badly, he said calmly. Then his eyes glowed red. Power flooded the pier. Lena collapsed to her knees, unable to move. At the same moment, Alaric froze in his throne room. His chest burned. His bond screamed. Something was wrong. Reynolds, he snapped. Find Lena. Now. The old butler's face paled. She left the shelter hours ago, sir. Alaric vanished. Verix circled Lena like a predator. You see, he said softly, you are very special. I'm just a worker, she whispered. No, he corrected. You are the last descendant of the Moon bloodline. Her mind spun. What? An ancient human vampire bloodline, he explained. Rare. Powerful. Able to weaken kings, or strengthen them. She shook her head. You're lying. I never lie, Varix smiled. Your mother hid you. Erased records. Gave you away. To protect you. Why tell me now? Because you belong to me. He grabbed her wrist. Dark magic wrapped around her. She screamed. And vanished. Alaric arrived seconds later. Empty pier. Broken letter. Blood scent. Gone. He dropped to his knees. No. For the first time in centuries. The vampire king screamed. Days passed. Lena was imprisoned in Varix's fortress beneath the mountains. Cold stone. Iron chains. No windows. No light. Only darkness. Varix visited daily. You will help me rule, he said. No, she replied. You will, he insisted. Because I will break you. He tortured her mind. Showed her illusions. Made her see Alaric killing children. Burning shelters. Betraying her. You see? Varix whispered. He is a monster. She cried. But she didn't believe it. Not fully. Meanwhile, Alaric went insane. He destroyed cities. Slaughtered enemies. Interrogated thousands. Killed without mercy. His council begged. Stop. She's gone, he roared. And I will burn the world to get her back. He stopped ruling. Stopped sleeping. Stopped caring. Only hunted. One night, he found a clue. An old prophecy. Hidden in forbidden archives. When Moonblood meets Shadow King. One must die. One must fall. One must rise. His hands trembled. Was Lena destined to die? Was he? Or both? In prison, Lena grew weaker. She stopped eating. Stopped speaking. Until one night. A prisoner whispered through the wall. You're the Moonblood. Yes, Lena replied weakly. You can fight him. How? With love, the voice said. And sacrifice. She remembered Alaric's eyes. His kindness. His pain. And she made a decision. A terrible one. She agreed to Varix's deal. I'll help you, she said quietly. Varix smiled. Good girl. But she was lying. She planned to destroy herself. To save Alaric. The price of love. The night Lena agreed to Varix's deal, she did not sleep. She sat on the cold stone floor of her cell, her back against the wall, her knees drawn to her chest, staring into nothing. She was going to die. She understood that now. Varix did not want her loyalty. He wanted her blood. Moonblood was rare. It could amplify vampire power 1,000 times. With her sacrifice, he could overthrow Alaric and rule forever. And she was willing to let it happen. If it meant saving him. Varix brought her to the ritual chamber 3 days later. It was deep underground. Carved from black crystal. Lit by crimson fire. Ancient symbols covered every surface. A stone altar stood in the center. Chains hung above it. Lena's hands shook. But she walked forward. Alone. Proud. Unbroken. You look calm, Varix said. I'm ready, she replied. He laughed. You humans are so dramatic. Far away, Alaric felt it. A pull. A scream. A warning in his blood. He stood abruptly. She's alive, he whispered. Prepare the army. Reynolds hesitated. Sir, the council forbids. I am the council, Alaric roared. Dark wings erupted from his back. An ancient power he had never used. The Shadow Legion rose. And war began. The fortress shook as Alaric attacked. Walls collapsed. Vampires fell. Fire and darkness clashed. He carved his way through hundreds. Nothing mattered. Only her. Lena, he shouted. In the ritual chamber, Lena lay on the altar. Chains locked around her wrists. Her tears flowed silently. She whispered, "I'm sorry." Varix raised a silver blade. "With this blood, I become eternal." The blade descended. "Stop." The chamber exploded. Alaric burst through the wall. Eyes burning. Wings spread. Blood soaked. "Touch her," he growled, "and I erase you from time." Lena sobbed. Alaric. He rushed to her. Freed her chains. Cradled her. "I'm here," he whispered. "I'm here." For one moment. Everything was okay. Then Varix laughed. "You're too late." He snapped his fingers. A hidden sigil activated. Light speared through Lena's chest. She screamed. Alaric screamed louder. "No! No!" Her blood floated into the air. Power surged. Varix transformed. Stronger. Faster. Immortal. "Thank you," he said mockingly. Alaric attacked. Their battle shattered mountains. Sky turned red. Earth split. But Varix was unstoppable. He pierced Alaric's heart. Dark energy exploded. Alaric fell. Dead. Or so it seemed. Lena crawled to him. Bleeding. Weak. Broken. She held his face. "Don't leave me, please." He didn't answer. She cried until her voice broke. Then she remembered. Moon blood. Healing. Sacrifice. She knew what she had to do. She pressed her lips to his. And whispered an ancient prayer she never knew she remembered. Her blood glowed. Flowed into him. Life for life. Heart for heart. Her body grew cold. As his began to warm. Varix panicked. "What are you doing?" Saving him, Lena whispered. With her last strength, she pushed him away. A burst of light shattered Varix. He screamed. Then vanished. Dust. Nothing. Gone. Alaric awoke. Breathing. Alive. He looked down. Lena lay motionless. Eyes closed. Skin pale. "No." He shook her. "Wake up." Nothing. He held her. Rocked her. Cried. For the first time in 700 years. The vampire king wept. "I won," he whispered. "So why did I lose you?" They buried her beneath moonlight. Near the shelter. Children cried. Staff mourned. The world honored her as a hero. But Alaric only felt emptiness. He abdicated the throne. Left the palace. Wandered alone. A broken king. Months passed. Seasons changed. Snow fell. Flowers bloomed. And one night, at her grave, something impossible happened. Eternal dawn. The grave began to glow at midnight. Not softly. Not gently. It shone like a living star buried beneath the earth. Alaric stood frozen before it, his long coat fluttering in the cold wind. He had come every night for 6 months. He never missed a single one. He spoke to her grave. He told her about the shelter. About Noah learning to read. About the children asking when Aunt Lena would come back. About how the world was safer. Kinder. Because of her. But tonight. The ground trembled. Light cracked through the stone. Alaric fell to his knees. Lena, he whispered. The earth split. And she rose. She emerged slowly, wrapped in silver light. Her hair floated as if underwater. Her skin glowed. Her wounds were gone. Her heart was beating. Strong. Steady. Alive. She gasped. Air rushed into her lungs. Her eyes opened. Confused. Bright. Human. And more. Alaric, she murmured. He rushed forward. Caught her. Held her like she might vanish. You're here, he sobbed. You're really here. I thought I died, she whispered. You did, he replied. And you came back. The moon blood had awakened fully. Her sacrifice had not killed her. It had transformed her. She was now a bridge. Between human and vampire. Between life and immortality. Between light and darkness. The prophecy was complete. One had fallen. One had died. One had risen. She was the one who rose. The vampire world changed. Under Alaric's rule, new laws were written. No more human trafficking. No more blood farms. No more abuse. Shelters were protected. Hospitals funded. Education provided. Vampires and humans worked together. Lena became the voice of the weak. Alaric became the shield. They ruled side by side. Not with fear. With respect. 1 year later. They stood on the shelter roof. The same place where everything began. Children laughed below. Lights glowed in windows. Hope lived there now. Alaric held her hand. Do you ever regret meeting me? He asked quietly. She smiled. Never. You lost your life because of me. I found my destiny because of you. He kissed her forehead. Softly. Reverently. I love you, he said. Not as a king. Not as a monster. As a man. She looked into his eyes. I loved you when you were broken, she replied. I love you now that you're healing. That night, under a sky full of stars, Alaric knelt. A vampire king. On one knee. Before a former shelter worker. Lena Carter, he said. Will you be my queen, and my forever? Tears fell. Yes, she whispered. Always. Their wedding was simple. No crowns. No thrones. Just candles. Children. Flowers. Music. And love. Humans and vampires together. A new era. Years passed. Then decades. Lena aged slowly. Blessed by moon blood. She stayed young. Strong. Kind. They watched generations grow. They never forgot where they came from. Never forgot pain. Never forgot humility. And in every shelter, in every city, in every broken place. People told this story. Of a homeless girl who chose courage. Of a king who learned compassion. Of love that defeated death. Of power that bowed to kindness. Full moon final message. Never judge someone by their status. Never underestimate kindness. And never doubt the power of love. Because sometimes a shelter worker can save an immortal king. And change the fate of the world. White heavy checkmark the end.